use an unattractive term. We think of it in terms of a negative. We don't think of, oh, thank God there's lobbyists. We think, wow, there's someone with enormous amounts of money using that money to gain influence on politicians, and it shapes regular people, it shapes our lives mostly in a negative way. This is the way most people look at it. I'm not saying it's correct. Why do we have that system in place? Like, why do we have lobbyists? Why is it legal for someone to spend exorbitant amounts of money to affect our civilization, to affect the way our culture works?
All right, now you're taking us into a whole new area.
Yeah.
All right. If you think back on American history and you think about the real changes that have taken place in society, you think about the labor movement and working class people standing up and saying to their employers, we're not going to be treated like animals anymore. You can't hire and fire us. You can't work us, 15 hours a day. We deserve dignity. And you think about the growth of the labor movement, millions of people beginning to stand together and fight. Think about the civil rights movement. And it wasn't just Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It was, again, millions of African Americans and their white allies saying, we're going to end segregation and racism in this country. Think about the women's movement. 100 years ago, women in America didn't even have the right to vote. Think about the gay rights movement. Think about the environmental law. The only way that change takes place is when ordinary people come together and stand up and fight and say that the status quo is not working. And that's what I believe, and that's what we're trying to do. This is a very, very deep question, which we don't talk about terribly much. Why is it that so many of our people are turning to drugs, to alcohol, by the way, and tragically to suicide? We now have, for the last 3 years, something that is ahistorical, never happened before in modern history, and that is our life expectancy is actually going down. And this is hitting all over the country, but it's especially hitting rural areas. And what the doctors are saying is that these are diseases of despair. So I think what we're talking about is, why is this happening? It's often in rural areas, in urban as well. And how can we reestablish hope and optimism in the American people? What we have got to do, instead of building more jails and locking up more people, we really do have to invest in our young people, especially young people in distressed communities. What does that mean? That means we have to rebuild rural America. We have to rebuild the depressed communities in urban America. It means that we have to have a great educational system. And people say, oh, that's great, Bernie, that's utopian. It is not utopian. This is something that in the wealthiest country in the history of the world we can afford, and we should be doing rather than creating a situation where Amazon pays 0 in federal income taxes. So to answer your question, it's a deep question. And again, I'm not here to tell you I have all the answers, but there are a lot of people out there who have basically given up hope. And for those people, I guess drugs is the alternative.
So what you're saying essentially is that if we can do something to mitigate despair, then we'll do something to at least stop some of the demand for these illegal drugs.
I believe that is the case. Look, if I am optimistic, if I'm excited about going to work tomorrow and I'm seeing my kid doing great in school, and when I get sick, I can go to the doctor's office and have a sense of community. My downtown is not all boarded up because businesses have left, but we have a community. Yeah, the strong likelihood is there will be less diseases of despair and drugs.
Maybe underneath it all, we know there's something wrong with being digged down, mistreated, then sent along.